Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all well. Hope you can see my the document I'm busy going through. Okay. Again, apologies for this. I'm going on what I've been told. So again, my sincere apologies. I cannot, yeah, it's just embarrassing. But again, let's try and get through as best as we can, and I can help you as much as I can with your answers to your questions. Okay, first up, 1 hour. There's a module code that you have in terms of what the requirements are. Also, furthermore, you will see the referencing rubric as well as in terms of understanding what each part is required of understanding. Okay, let me just make double sure. Assignment 1. All right, question 1 for 20 marks. The selection process for hiring a municipal services coordinator. The Mohali local municipality, I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but I'm going to pick out the key points so you can see what it is currently seeking for, they're looking to acquire a municipal service coordinator. The HR department has designed a thorough selection process to ensure the right candidate is shown. The process includes initial screening, understand the effectiveness of what that is required. This steps helps HR professionals manage large applicant pools and focus on the promising candidates. This case study outlines a robust selection process designed to identify the ideal candidate for the municipal services coordinator position. Question 1, discuss. Remember, discuss. So it is not a open close question or answer rather. Discuss the purpose of the initial screening and the selection process and how it would apply to the scenario. Again, you take the selection process and apply it to what the municipality is looking for and how they're trying to do it in terms of looking to, again, the thing is to purpose for the initial screening of the CVs or the applications that need to be applied. Right, in that question, the selection process that we did was of understanding and how the requirements are put into spec. 2, explain why application forms are important in the selection process and what type of information you need for the candidates in the scenario. Okay. Again, understanding what the requirements are and how you put it into context. Again, understand here, explain why application forms are important in the selection process. And they are, as we discussed in the selection process, to make sure that we have the right candidates and the best possible candidates are in the talent pool to adhere to what the requirements are in the selection process, which would need from candidates in this scenario. Okay, question 3, describe the purpose of conducting interviews. Again, how you conduct an interview and what needs to be done as part of the selection process and how it benefits both the interviewer and interviewer, and interviewee. All right, from an understanding of what you need to do and how you need to do it. Question 1.4, describe how employment tests can be used to ensure that the best cultural fit in this scenario and what are some of the tests that you need to do. Okay, here, understand what the requirements are in terms of cultural tests. They are noted in terms of how you put it into recruitment and selection. And the employment tests are very, again, subscribed to the thing in question in terms of what understanding is and how you put it into context. Okay. The last thing is how one puts it into context. Understanding is what the requirements are in terms of specific of the cultural fit in terms of the tests. Question number 2, okay, the workforce planning and talent management in Mohali City Local Municipality. The Mohali Local Municipality has experienced rapid population growth, so that's 1. To add to the challenges, the Human Resource Department must ensure that the understanding in terms of the right people are in the right roles at the right time. Here, understand what those requirements are from the local. The HR director has indicated a project to optimize staffing levels and develop talent to meet current and future needs. This case study explains the difference between workforce planning as well as talent management and outlines the 5 steps of the workforce planning process. Summary of differences, the workforce planning and talent management. Again, understand the 2 as we've discussed. Both processes are interdependent, meaning workforce planning has a specific role, and so does talent management have a specific role in terms of what those requirements are. By following the 5 steps of the workforce planning process, the HR department can strategically address workforce gaps and ensure long-term organizational success. Question 2.1, provide a comprehensive explanation of the distinction between workforce planning and talent management. As we just mentioned now, literally what you need to do is take out and specifically identify what is a workforce plan, and two, what is talent management. Okay. In your response, highlight the primary purposes, focus areas, and timeframes and outcomes. So there's four. Basically, the primary focus purposes, the focus areas, timeframes, and outcomes based on Mohali local municipality. Understand what those requirements are. Identify and describe the first 5 steps involved in the workforce planning process for each step. Briefly explain its purpose and significance in ensuring a Mohali workforce aligned with its strategic goals. Here, look at the 5 steps in the workforce planning process, as what you've already said. It's part of your ICE task to understand what they are. Okay, it's in your textbook as well as in the slides as well, and apply those in terms of the question number 2. Question number 3. All right, Mercury Tech Solutions, okay, is a growing software company with a diverse workforce. Recently, the company has faced challenges related to economic instability, tech advancements in the industry. As a result, the HR team at Mercury Tech Solutions must address several issues. They need to adapt to changing macro environmental factors, implement an effective training process to upskill employees, and determine the best strategy for filling open roles within the organization. To maintain a competitive edge, HR is also considered internal curriculum for certain positions to leverage the skills of current employees. Question 3.1 asks you, discuss any 5 macro environmental factors that influence human resource management at Mercury Tech Solutions. Explain why each factor is important for HR managers to consider. Explain the systematic training process in its significance in its employees and development at Tech. Okay. Explain the systematic training process and processes and the reasons of significance for it, for the employee development. Okay. So 2 things, training process 1, 2, the employment development process. Question 4, Mohali local municipality recently hired a municipal service coordinator responsible for overseeing various community programs and ensuring efficient, effective delivery. After 6 months, the HR department plans to conduct a performance appraisal to evaluate the conductor's effectiveness, identify development opportunities, and align their performance with municipal goals. Question here is in 30 marks, discuss the purpose of performance appraisal. Again, it comes back to performance appraisal, as well as understanding what the outcomes are in the performance appraisal process. So here, you take out a performance appraisal purpose or process, identify its purpose, and you apply it to the above scenario. Outline the key steps in the performance appraisal process and explain how this process benefits the municipality and the employee. Okay, so again, there's 4 things in this question. Understand the performance appraisal process, apply it. 3, look at the best case scenario in terms of the performance appraisal process and explain how this process benefits both the municipality and the employee. All right, again, just to go recap again from the top, the assignment in question, identify the referencing rubric, explain in terms of what the requirements are for assignment question 1, all right, which is broken down into 44 questions, all right, discuss the purpose, explain the application forms, the purpose of conducting an employment test. Question 2, provide a comprehensive explanation of distinction between the workforce plan and talent management. Question 2.2, understand the difference in the 5 steps of workforce planning. For each step, briefly explain. Okay, so it's 5 times 2 marks. And question 3.1, discuss the macro environmental factors that influence HR management at Mercury Tech Solutions. And 3.2, identify the systematic training process and its influence in significance development in Mercury Tech Solutions. And the last question, question 4, as I just said to you, explain the purpose of performance appraisal and performance resource management using the above scenario as a reference. Outline the performance appraisal process and how this process is worked in terms of looking at the process benefits of doing a performance appraisal. So again, it's looking at the objectives for the municipality and the objectives for the employee. Okay, identify what they are and how you put them into context. Okay, so again, you identify the purpose, you look at the scenario as a reference, outline the key steps, and explain how this process benefits both the municipality and the employee. Okay, all right, that will literally get you through the whole assignment quite quickly and quite efficiently. Okay. Again, my sincere apologies for what I was given is incorrect. What we're given in terms of was the actual face-to-face and not the online assignment. Again, my apologies. Okay, stop sharing. Stop recording. Dunk. Stop.